the most talked about quarterback heading into the NFL draft. Plenty of 12 jerseys out here in Charlotte, even though the Browns are on the road.
Do you
How
even
many
sports,
starting
bro?
quarterbacks do we think would say or act like this or handle it this way? And that's one of Bill Parcells' commandments, quarterback-wise. The first thing, never respond to the critic. Ever, 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 never. And
Shedeur Sanders, and specifically the thoughts on the quarterback competition and the way it went to start in the preseason.
Okay, well, so you and I have already talked about this, so this is just brand new for the audience. So how I feel is that it was never truly a quarterback competition. It was something that, in my opinion, Kevin Stefanski was just saying stuff to probably just get through it, and the fact that there wasn't really a lot of pushback on behalf of the media throughout the summer, it was disappointing, but, everybody got a job to do however they decide to do it. That's on them. If they can see.
For months, the narrative around Shedeur Sanders has been twisted, flipped, and spun until it barely resembles the truth. Sports shows keep saying he's not ready, that he doesn't understand NFL speed, or that he needs to sit and learn. But what nobody wants to talk about is that this man's resume already proves he's built for it. The tape doesn't lie, and the numbers don't either. Shedeur has been one of the most accurate and composed quarterbacks in all of college football, and his leadership has been tested in the fire. Yet somehow, the same analysts who praised him before the draft have suddenly gone silent, or worse, changed their story entirely.
Puts the blame. I watched Shedeur Sanders get damn near killed for 2 years at Colorado. And I never saw him berate a lineman on the sideline. I never saw him cuss or scream at a coach. And you're hearing these things like entitled and these little pieces of the characteristics of his personality when we had a #1 overall draft pick get arrested for being orderly and drunk.
When he was at Jackson State and then Colorado, Shedeur Sanders showed everything you want from a quarterback. Calm under pressure, elite touch on deep throws, the ability to extend plays and deliver dimes in chaos. His final college season wasn't just good, it was historic. He was named a second-team All-American. He won the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, which is given to the nation's top senior quarterback. And if that's not enough proof of his readiness, he also ranked near the top nationally in completion percentage and passer efficiency. Those are facts, cold hard facts that don't disappear just because the media suddenly wants a different storyline.
The whole thing, it bothered me to my core throughout the summer, and even as you got into the season, where there wasn't a lot of pushback from Stefanski or Andrew Berry or really even his teammates when he would get attacked on the national level, like a Rex Ryan or someone, where nobody, after Rex Ryan made those comments, nobody addressed it with Stefanski before they talked to Shedeur in the locker room when Shedeur did the Miami thing. And so it's like you've got people on the national level talking about him, especially in the negative aspect, making it seem like he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing in the classroom and in the practice field. When and I mean as a coach and organization, where the photos are out there where nobody has any pushback, and then I understand that Jason and them have a job to do, but the fact that they allow certain narratives to get out there where they don't push back, because as I told you before, when we talked yesterday or text or whatever, people seem to forget that when you speak on camera and stuff's on the internet, that stuff lives, it stays there, so we can go back and see what you said. And so when I guess
you bring up I didn't even think about that.
Before we go deeper into how this all unfolded, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're here every week breaking down the real stories the media won't tell you. The truth behind the headlines, the hidden agendas, and the people trying to rewrite the narrative. So if you're ready for honest football talk that doesn't sugarcoat or twist words, hit that bell icon and let's keep it real. The strange part is how quickly the same reporters who once called Shedeur the most accurate passer in the country started questioning his ability to read defenses. In one moment, he was the face of the future, and the next, he was not ready. Think about that. How can someone be elite in accuracy one year and suddenly become a project the moment he's drafted? The truth is that this shift didn't come from anything Shedeur did wrong. It came from a media machine that feeds on drama and controversy. When a young black quarterback steps into an NFL locker room with confidence and high expectations, it always shakes the room a little bit. And the media often responds not with curiosity, but with caution. They find a way to plant doubt before the man even takes a snap.
First string reps, and you got Shedeur and Galen, Dylan, and they're going to compete for the back reps. Had you said that, hey, we can all live with that, but you said it was going to be an open 4-man competition where everybody was going to get the same amount of reps and stuff like that, and that did not.
The Cleveland Browns said it would be a 4-man quarterback competition. The coaching staff promised equal reps and fair evaluation, but that never happened. The so-called open competition was closed before it ever began. Shedeur barely got reps with the first team while others were handed the bulk of the snaps. That's not competition, that's control. And when the media didn't question it, when no one pressed Kevin Stefanski or the front office about it, that silence said a lot. Reporters are supposed to hold power accountable. Instead, many of them just repeated whatever they were told and called it analysis.
You can't give me a good enough excuse as to why Shedeur Sanders is not getting his reps. And if you're saying that he's not coming along with the playbook, now you got me questioning you as a head coach about his acumen. Are you saying he's not bright? Are you saying he's dumb? Are you saying he's slow? And even if that's not the case, if you're not trying to say that, then why is he not up to speed? What are you all doing, and how are you all getting this information to him? And what is he not doing that is precluding him from getting reps? See, I would have to get a solid answer. I'd have to get a solid answer before I would stand down in my pushback to the coach. And whether it's the coach or the OC.
Imagine being Shedeur Sanders, walking into that situation. You've been told to prove yourself. You've done it at every level. You've carried teams on your back. You've played under pressure that most rookies couldn't dream of handling. Yet when the opportunity finally comes, the doors are quietly closed. And then when you're not on the field, the same people who never gave you reps start saying you're not ready. It's the oldest setup in the book. Create the conditions for failure, then use them as evidence that you can't succeed. This whole thing became worse when the national media joined in. Analysts like Rex Ryan went on TV questioning Shedeur's maturity, his commitment, and his grasp of the playbook. But did any of them talk to the man himself? Did they ask the coaching staff for clarity? No. They just repeated rumors and half-truths because negativity drives clicks. And while Shedeur handled it with composure, staying silent, letting his game speak, the media kept writing their story. What made it worse was the Browns organization never stepped in to defend him. A simple statement like, "He's doing great, he's working hard every day, we believe in his future," would have shut down the noise instantly. But they said nothing. That silence allowed the false narratives to grow. Now think about the receipts. When Shedeur made his preseason debut against the Carolina Panthers, that stadium was electric. Fans came out to see him play, and the Panthers even raised ticket prices because of his name. He delivered that night. 2 touchdowns, precision throws, threading a needle like a veteran. Analysts on shows the next morning praised his poise and accuracy. They said he looked like he belonged. But 2 weeks later, the story flipped again. Suddenly, people were saying he's not ready, or he needs to develop. The same voices who praised him now acted like they never saw that game. That's not journalism, that's manipulation. The truth is, Shedeur Sanders has been judged by a double standard from the start. If another rookie with less college production had played that well, the headlines would be full of excitement. But with Shedeur, it's always, let's wait and see. Some people in the media can't stand that he carries himself with confidence, that he knows his worth, and that his father, Deion Sanders, raised him to expect excellence. That combination makes him polarizing, but it also makes him dangerous to the establishment. He represents a new generation of quarterbacks who control their image, their brand, and their narrative. That scares people who are used to writing the story for them. In college, Shedeur led Colorado through chaos. That overtime comeback win against Colorado State showed exactly who he is. Under pressure, down late in the fourth quarter, he led a drive with perfect passes and calm execution. That's not hype, that's leadership. That's what NFL scouts are supposed to love. Yet when it comes to Shedeur, those performances get buried under side stories about his dad or locker room distractions. The media keeps focusing on everything around him instead of what's in front of them, the actual football. There's also a bigger issue here. The NFL has a history of labeling certain cornerbacks too early. He's not ready. He's too confident. He doesn't fit the system. Those same words were once used against players like Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and even Patrick Mahomes before they became stars. The media can't seem to understand that growth doesn't mean you're not ready, it means you're learning. And every young quarterback goes through that phase. The difference is that some are given patience while others are given excuses for why they shouldn't even get a chance. If you look at Shedeur's stats from Colorado, they tell the story the media won't. Over 70% completion rate, high touchdown to interception ratio, consistent accuracy in tight windows. That's not a project quarterback, that's an efficient one. Coaches talk all the time about decision-making and timing. Shedeur has both. His film shows anticipation throws, layered passes, and quick reads. He doesn't rely on athleticism or gimmicks. He plays the game with precision. So when someone says he's not ready, it's fair to ask what that actually means. Not ready compared to who? The contradiction in how people talk about Shedeur is what frustrates fans the most. One week, analysts say he's the future of the franchise. The next week, they act like he should be cut or benched. That's why so many people are starting to call it out. You can't praise a player for accuracy and leadership in one sentence and then say he's unprepared in the next. That's not honest reporting, that's agenda setting. Let's be real, the Browns organization didn't do him any favors either. They kept him in the shadows while pretending the competition was open. And when it came time to announce he'd be the backup, the same media that built the drama disappeared. No follow-up questions, no accountability, no recognition that they were wrong. They just quietly moved on to the next story, hoping fans would forget. But people remember. The internet remembers. Every clip, every quote, every contradiction lives online forever. At the heart of all this is something deeper than sports. It's about credibility. The media has power to shape perception, and they know it. When they choose to highlight negativity or twist context, it affects how fans view a player. That's why moments like this matter. Because what's happening to Shedeur Sanders isn't just about football. It's about fairness. It's about how narratives are built and who gets to control them. Shedeur is challenging that system just by being himself and refusing to fit the mold. He doesn't lash out at reporters. He doesn't beg for sympathy. He just keeps working. Early mornings, late nights, studying film, throwing until his arm aches. His story is one of quiet resilience. And whether the media acknowledges it or not, fans can see the difference. You can't fake dedication. You can't fake accuracy. You can't fake leadership. Those things show up every time he touches the field. The reason this moment is so powerful is because it exposes how inconsistent the sports media can be. One clip from a show can go viral and suddenly define a player's reputation. People forget how hard it is to unlearn those narratives once they spread. That's why accountability matters. The same reporters who doubted him will eventually have to face those receipts when he proves them wrong on the field. And make no mistake, he will. Every time he steps onto that turf, he's rewriting their story with his own performance. In the bigger picture, Shedeur's journey is about transformation. He's not just fighting for a starting job, he's fighting against a machine that thrives on negativity. Every accurate throw, every composed drive, every silent answer to loud criticism chips away at the false image they built. That's why fans connect with him, because they see someone who refuses to fold under pressure, someone who keeps showing up and letting his game speak louder than words. When people look back years from now, they'll remember this phase as the turning point, the time when the media tried to frame Shedeur Sanders as unready, and he turned that doubt into motivation. Every quarterback who came before him faced their own version of this story. What separates Shedeur is that he's facing it with composure and confidence while the cameras are always rolling. So the next time someone says Shedeur isn't ready, remember this. The stats say otherwise. The film says otherwise. The awards say otherwise. What's really happening is that the media underestimated his resolve. They thought they could control his story, but Shedeur is already proving them wrong one throw at a time. He's been ready. The only ones who aren't ready are the people still clinging to their outdated narratives. This is bigger than hype. It's about respect. And respect isn't given, it's earned. Shedeur Sanders is earning it every day, even when the headlines say otherwise. And when he finally steps into that starting role and shows what he's truly capable of, the same voices who doubted him will scramble to rewrite history. But the fans, the ones who saw the truth from the start, they'll know exactly who is real.